Here's more wrestling news for August 31st, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include: Goldberg says he needs knee surgery after facing Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam, reportedly slated to wrestle in Saudi Arabia. Former WWE wrestler is no longer drinking and plans to turn her life around. Wrestler reportedly requests release from the company. Help me out, sis. Paige wants to face top WWE superstar upon possible in-ring return. WWE not 100% finished hiring indie wrestlers. WWE postpones SmackDown event in October. Io Shirai's current WWE NXT status revealed. The writers and everybody laughed at me. Riddle recalls backstage reactions before WrestleMania. WWE wrestler claims Vince McMahon personally reached out about WWE return. John Cena finally opens up, says his mysterious Instagram posts have meaning for him. Earlier this month, Goldberg revealed that he has 2 matches left on his current contract, and he took care of one of those matches at SummerSlam, losing to Bobby Lashley. That WWE title match ended when Goldberg was no longer able to compete, and a post-match segment saw Lashley attack the Hall of Famer's son Gage. Though Lashley has already wrestled twice this year, it appears that his final match of his contract will take place this year too, as WrestleVotes reports that sources in WWE have confirmed that Lashley Goldberg 2 will happen at Crown Jewel in October. As a legend of the ring, Goldberg is perfect for a live event in Saudi Arabia, especially as audiences there are much more positive on part-time wrestlers. It's hard to say who will win this rematch, as Lashley has been a dominant champion, but WWE has already made Goldberg a champion once before at a Saudi show, and we'll just have to wait until October 21st to see who leaves as WWE champion. WWE's plan may be for Goldberg and Lashley to square off at Crown Jewel, but those plans are in serious jeopardy thanks to their SummerSlam match. Speaking to WWE in a digital exclusive, Goldberg discussed the speculated rematch against the Almighty and how his body needs to recover first. He said, "I have ligament damage and have a pending knee surgery. I really don't care. What I do care about is that dirty son of a bitch Bobby Lashley and what he did to my son at SummerSlam." At 54 years old, these sorts of injuries will take longer for Goldberg to recover from, and time will tell if his condition proves to be a problem for WWE's plans in Riyadh. Over to Raw next, as last night's show saw Doudrop face Eva Marie in what was supposed to be a grudge match, stemming from their split at SummerSlam and Marie attacking her former protege on last week's Raw. Last night, Doudrop gave Marie a taste of her own medicine, attacking her from behind, but it wasn't a good look for the Scottish superstar, who's meant to be a babyface. Although it's revenge on Marie, who did the exact same, a more straightforward match would have helped Doudrop much more than what we got on this week's Raw. For years, Tammy Sitch, aka Sunny, has had some serious struggles in life, and only recently got out of jail after a year behind bars. That sentence came after she breached her protective order, but the original WWF diva is now ready to turn things around. Speaking at the International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony, Sitch said that she's paid her price for drinking and driving, and now that she's done her time, she's ready to move on with her life. The former WWF valet said she's feeling better than ever after not drinking for a while, and said that her long-term plan is to get into real estate, a plan she'll need to fund at this time from her OnlyFans page. Sunny certainly seems to be in a better place after her latest stint in jail, and it's great to hear she has plans, and we can only hope that the former valet has been able to put her demons behind her from now on. Over to Impact now, as AC Romero has reportedly requested his release from the company. Romero had been teaming with Larry D as Triple XL, and were still under contract as of last month, with Romero working on a paid-per-appearance deal according to Fightful. Romero hasn't been used since the April set of TV tapings and tested positive in early May, but is said to be healthy now, wrestling for the Limitless Wrestling promotion in recent weeks. Romero debuted in October 2019 and signed a 3-year deal that was offered by Executive Vice President Scott D'Amore, but now the powerhouse wants out early of Impact Wrestling. Yesterday, we reported on Paige and how she's working to get back in the ring, even if WWE are refusing to let her wrestle once more. On Twitter, the former Divas champion has said she's not done yet, and whether she returns or not, we know who Paige has on her list. On a recent Twitch stream, Paige called out Sasha Banks for her return match, saying, "I would love to face Sasha Banks. I feel like it's a built-in storyline and she's one of the best. She's one of the best out there, men or women. She's one of the best, ain't no one putting on friggin' matches like her. Charlotte is great, everyone is great, but Sasha is just one of those wrestlers that can literally fight a ladder and it'll be a 5-star match. She'll carry me too. Help me out, sis? Paige's last match in WWE came at a December 27, 2017 house show in which a kick from Banks led to Paige's neck getting injured, and the latter hasn't wrestled since. Interestingly, Banks is also out of action as she's being kept off TV due to unforeseen circumstances, but WWE are hopeful that the boss will be back in time for the September 10th SmackDown in Madison Square Garden. At this time, WWE has rejected all requests by Paige to wrestle again, even though her neck is reportedly very close to 100%. But if she does wrestle, we know who the anti-diva wants to face. For the past few months, WWE has been cutting several superstars from NXT, all part of Vince McMahon's new vision for the Gold brand. Not only does the chairman want NXT to be a developmental ground for Raw and SmackDown once again, but it's reported that WWE is not looking to sign indie wrestlers for the time being, focusing on finding people first and training them to wrestle second. That isn't entirely the case apparently, as PW Insider reports that WWE isn't finished with indie wrestlers just yet, but their main focus will now be on non-wrestlers and larger athletes that they'll mold into being superstars. The belief is that WWE swung too far in one direction in recent years, focusing too much on signing indie wrestlers, and now they'll be swinging in a different direction. WWE will continue to look for talent, especially if they can keep wrestlers away from AEW, and whilst they're not completely done with indie wrestlers, their main focus is on names they can train themselves into becoming the next generation of superstars. With WWE prioritizing the signing of non-wrestlers, it's expected that more indie wrestlers will consider AEW their first choice, something that Tony Khan is more than happy with. In an appearance on Wrestling Observer Radio, the AEW president disagreed with how WWE is sourcing talent. He said, "There are people that look great that will never be good at this, and you can pick 100 great-looking people and you might find 0 that are actually great at what wrestlers really do. If you auditioned people on their physical ability or how good they look in a Speedo, Mick Foley or Dax Harwood or a lot of other people, Darby Allin, people aren't necessarily going to be lining up to sign those guys as their #1 draft pick. But frankly, I like to watch wrestling." WWE is passing up on a lot of talent just because they come from an indie background and may not have the right look the company is wanting. And we doubt the likes of Daniel Bryan or CM Punk would have had their Hall of Fame-worthy careers or even being allowed into WWE had this policy been in effect when they were being signed. After a year away, the WWE is getting back on the road with live fans attending once more, but now one of their shows has had to be postponed. Fans in New Orleans will have to wait even longer to see WWE live again, as the October 1st event at the Smoothie King Center has been postponed and will happen at some point in 2022. Instead, the October 1st SmackDown will now take place at the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore, Maryland, and in an update from Wrestling Inc., it was noted that Hurricane Ida has caused the show to be changed. Hopefully, WWE can return to New Orleans soon, as it's a city rich in WWE history, but it won't be happening as planned on October 1st. NXT now, as Io Shirai hasn't competed in nearly 2 months, with her last match being at the NXT Great American Bash special on July 6th. At that event, she and Zoe Stark became the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, making her absence from the Gold brand all the more bizarre. There's now an update on Shirai as Fightful Select reports that she's healthy and able to work, and even participating in the most recent set of TV tapings. As for her absence, it seems NXT just didn't have plans to use her for the past 2 months, which begs the question as to why to make her and Stark champions at all. The champions don't seem to have any challengers yet, but that'll happen soon enough, especially as Shirai will be back on screen very soon. One person fans can see each week is Riddle, who's had an incredible 2021, winning both the United States and Raw Tag Team titles. On last night's Raw, RK Bro retained their titles over Bobby Lashley and MVP, with Riddle pinning MVP after a floating bro, continuing the former NXT superstar's stellar push this year. RK Bro has certainly been a highlight of Raw in 2021, and in an interview with CBS Sports, Riddle recalled how he pitched the Odd Couple tag team backstage. "A couple of weeks before WrestleMania, I made a joke and said, how awesome would it be if me and Randy teamed up and called ourselves RK Bro? The writers and everybody laughed at me. Sometimes you just have to plant that seed and eventually it happens. I lost the United States Championship at WrestleMania and Randy beat The Fiend, so we were already done with our particular stories and kind of found each other. I think it was originally not supposed to be what it is today, but we were both pushing for it. At this time, there's no word on who RK Bro will defend their titles against at Extreme Rules, but we're sure that Riddle will be happy to defend their gold just as long as he's teaming with his best friend, Randy Orton. In June, Eva Marie made her in-person return to WWE 4 years after she initially left the company. Marie's return didn't exactly go down well with fans, as many haven't forgiven her for her first run with the company, but that same heat isn't shared by Vince McMahon. Speaking on oral sessions with Renee Paquette, Eva discussed her return and that the chairman himself spoke to her about a comeback. I had a conversation with Vince through emails, just always keeping in contact via email of things that I was doing outside of WWE, making sure that he was fully aware that Eva Marie was ready and willing to come back whenever you see fit. Eva's team with Doudrop has come to an end, but she's also said that fans have no idea where their storyline is heading, and whatever the end goal is, it'll have to be approved by Vince McMahon first. And we're ending today with John Cena, and if you've visited his Instagram page, you'll know just how bizarre the 16-time WWE World Champion can be. On his page, Cena shares random images, many of which not related to WWE, but all are posted without any caption or explanation. During a Q&A with Esquire, Cena was asked about his mysterious account and said that there's a method to his madness. He explained, "My Instagram account are images posted without any explanation for interpretation of the audience. Please, don't get me wrong, there is a method and value to everything I post on Instagram, but if I tell you, it ruins what I do. There's meaning for me, and if you got meaning from it too, that's cool, that's great, but it's not for me to explain. We're trying to curate a different experience. Try to figure it out." Cena didn't explain what the meaning to his Instagram account is, and odds are he never will, as fans will have to keep speculating on his future both in the ring and on the big screen. But whatever picture he chooses to upload, always without a caption. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.